This was set in the very minky spot, right? With the idea that he would swim into it. Well, knowing that this area is 90% of the time dry, stuff had to be moved through there. Well, I didn't get it there in time. There's no footprints here, but I was going to explain why it's set the way it is, right? The sticks on the outside, red ones, are holding this trap still. There's two sticks, one big one and one big one on the other side, holding the spring still because it's on a stabilizer and they spin. That side has a stick on the outside of the springs and that side has outside of the springs. The strategy here was to have it snap and drop into the water so nothing would be scared to go in and out. But when I walked up here, I didn't realize that log, that stick going beneath was already there. So it actually made it perfect spot for where they come in and out, just to step up on it through the trap. And with that being said, well, now it's not for mink, right? It's for possums and raccoon. But I set it that way, right? Strategically, so when the water drops, it's high. It's high enough they can walk into it. And exactly what I did. And, you know, it's working great so far. Well, clearly not caught anything, but it's the designed set is working how I designed it to work. And it's doing exactly what I wanted to do. Clearly they can get onto the left side on the other side, but the raccoons can't get their heads through there, right? The only way they're getting through is sticking their head through or trudging over the top of it, which they ain't gonna do necessarily. I used to set them on the ground for raccoon and they were like, well, you're doing it wrong. You know, they don't want to put their head down into something. They want to pick their head up if they can go in it or go through it with their head level. So I started raising my conibears up for sets like this. And this was a multi-set, now it's multiple purpose set, now it isn't. But here's the deal, right? People ask, hey, well, RBGs, do they fit on any stands? They're round. Doesn't make sense because all the other ones are square. They're supposed to be made for square. Well, that RBG fits on stabilizers, which is there, KB stands, which go on the rocky bottoms, regular like drill in, the clips, you know, little clip ones you drill into the log and you put the stand on it. They look like they're for round, square, they work for round. Furthermore, they work on regular H stands. They work on the V stands. And they work on just about every stand, right? Unless we get the metal like ones that you drill in that are real long, they don't work. But the little square one with a little lip on it, about a ½ inch long, they will work. So these traps have a long enough, big enough that when they start to make the circle, they're flat enough in that section, a couple inches on the bottom, to fit regular conibear stands to clip onto. So that being said, like, you have plenty of options with RBGs. They'll go on just about every regular square conibear stand, but obviously like those ones that are those metal clips that are real long, they don't go in there. But just about every other stand RBG will fit on. Doesn't matter what you set them like, doesn't matter what kind of stand it is, all RBGs will fit with the correlating stands. So there is nothing that's complicated about it anymore. It was at first for me, but that is what I'm telling you right now. All of them fit, all RBGs fit on all stands. 99% of them except for that one. So if you're gonna buy RBGs, buy them. There's no problems with them. They're easy to set. People with carpal tunnel, people with weak hands, older gentlemen, they're easy to set for you. You don't struggle to set them. They aren't hurting your hands. And they're easy to compress the springs and get them off. But when they fire, they're super fast because it's actually following the circle versus just straight up. And it continues to pick up speed the further the springs separate. So they're super fast, super lethal, and they work fantastic. And that's why I like them. But, you know, I preach them all the time. And I've used, literally, looking at this, right, I've used Belial's and Savage's. In Canada, Belial's competition is Savage's. So I use the top 2 traps in Canada, Savage's and Belial's. And I have them. And I've used Duke traps, I've used Bridger traps, I've used BMIs, I've used, what else is there? RBGs, I've used Belial's. Everything you get in America that's made currently in the market, I've used. And I still reach for the RBGs just because of the ease of setting them and how good they work, right? So if you're ever thinking about it, I've literally, before I started buying a lot of traps, high-end stuff, because I was only buying high-end, I bought one of everything, and I found what I wanted, and I bought them. And that's why I'm sticking with RBGs. So if that's a selling point to you, let it be. But if not, you know, it's okay. But that's the analogy behind why I use RBGs. You obviously are going to get the, like, I'm ranting, but you're obviously going to get the fanboys that say, well, the Belial's are the best trap on earth, right? Well, they bend, the Belial jaws bend, right? The RBGs don't, and then the Savage's don't. The Savage's, instead of having the weird angle in the jaws, they have a kill bar. The kill bar does not bend, and if it does bend, you can cut it off and redo it. The Savage's don't, they're all one piece, right? So people that scream and shout about Belial's, then scream and shout about Belial's. But you got to think, there's a reason Savage Joe came out and said we're the head competition for them, and they are. And in America, besides Belial, these are the best traps. And even, I would say, they're comparable with Belial. They may not be completely Magnum, but when they fire, and the spring starts separating, the animal, if they move a little bit, the spring gets further and further apart, and it locks up tighter and tighter and tighter. And the more they move, the tighter it gets. So there is no getting out of it. It's essentially a hand cut, a Chinese finger trap that just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And that's essentially what the RBGs do, and that's why I preach them. Sorry if this end was boring. This is the end of the line for me today, but you know what? I wanted to explain that to you, why I choose them, why I do it. You know, people don't understand, and that's one of the reasons I'm so loyal to it. He's just a good dude that owns them, and he's puts out very, very high quality stuff. Have a good day, guys. I'll see you down the line on the next one.